Coral Castle, 25 miles south of Miami, Florida. This strange landmark, the creation of one single man, a wizard named Edward Leedskalnin. His words and his dream. At the request of Mrs. Fred Urich of Pembroke, Massachusetts, we first climbed these stairs to see how the man lived his lonely life. Once disappointed in love, he wandered here from his native Latvia, hoping to accomplish something so important that his sweetheart would somehow, someday return to him. Well, here's where he worked and waited. Everything in his castle he built himself. A crude steel chair suspended to the rafters. He lived entirely alone. His bed also suspended, raised to the ceiling when not in use. Worldly comforts meant nothing. All that mattered was the building of his remarkable castle. He permitted no one to enter. And yet, for a recluse, he had a passion for neatness, everything in its proper place. Although uneducated, he was an avid reader. His living quarters were on the second floor of his castle, his workshop below. Every tool designed and made by his own hands, crude in appearance, and yet with devices such as this, he quarried and raised coral stones weighing up to 35 tons. To this day, no one knows quite how he did it, for no one ever saw him at work. He fashioned his pulley system out of scrap parts salvaged from junkyards, heavy-duty chains over cumbersome wheels, sledgehammers and chisels, cogged wheels, a brace and bit, a handmade axe, wheels from railroad handcars. The only records of his work are time exposures, which he took himself. They say he discovered the secret of how slaves of the ancient pharaohs moved stones from the quarries. But the average weight of stones in the Great Pyramid of Egypt was only 2.5 tons. It took thousands to move them. This man did it alone, and he weighed only 97 pounds. To keep the curious out, he surrounded his castle with an 8-foot wall. Into the wall and castle went over 235 tons of coral rock, but he used no power tools of any kind. He dug his own well. A stone rolls easily to block its entrance. And equally remarkable are his carvings in stone. This one, Obelisk, weighs over 28 tons. A 9-ton crescent of the east. The planet Saturn. Many such figures reveal his interest in astronomy. Near his planetarium, a giant throne. A 3-ton coral rock table shaped like the state of Florida. And we can't dispute his claim to inventing the first contour chair. A sunbathing stone that revolves. A rocking chair weighing thousands of pounds, expertly balanced to move at the slightest touch. A gigantic telescope aimed at the North Star. Sighting through crosshairs in adjoining walls, he oriented himself with the heavens. Always the dream of marriage to his boyhood sweetheart, a baby's cradle, a bathtub of coral rock, a water mirror, an outdoor fireplace. For baking, he contrived an oven from Model T Universal. In 1951, at the age of 64, Leedskalnin died. In spite of all this accomplishment, his Latvian sweetheart of almost 50 years ago had never returned, but his monument of love remains. The entrance guarded by a 9-ton door, perfectly balanced on pivots to turn with ease. The life work of the Wizard of Coral Castle. You asked for it.